Yay! I'm so excited to see everybody. Okay, guys, give me just a second. I'm going to try something this morning that I've been wanting to do, and I finally figured out how to do it. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Get this off. Give me just a second to get back over here to. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. It's beautiful here in Tennessee. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'm home alone. So I thought during the night, I thought, I want to do a video in the morning. And then I first thought that I would do it around 8:30. Well, someone forgot to set their alarm clock. So that didn't happen. But that's okay. We're here. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Let me send one message. Let's see. We're here. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Send one message. Okay. Hey, Christy. Hey, Rita. Hey, Rose. Thank you so much, Rose. I'm so sorry if you're asleep. Hey, Just Carrie. Hey, Amy. Hey, everybody. All right, guys. Hey, Christy. Hey, Rita. Hey, Rose. Thank you so much, Rose. I'm so sorry if you're asleep. Hey, Just Carrie. Hey, Amy. Hey, everybody. All right, let's see here. Now, what I want to talk to y'all about. Hey, 50 Shades of Blonde. Oh, Rose, it's fine, girl, if you do some typos. Hey, Mo, I'm so glad you're here. I just sent you a message. I thought I'd already seen it. When I went back and looked at my phone, I realized that I hadn't. Okay, how many of y'all are familiar with the Gannon Stauch case out of Colorado Springs, Colorado? Gannon's case is what actually got me interested in true crime. When he went missing, I was literally glued to the TV and to my phone looking for updates. Yes, that's what I want to talk to you about because they had the preliminary trial yesterday after months and months of extinctions and his stepmother trying everything in the world she could to not make, for this not to happen. She even tried to plan an escape. You name it, this woman tried it, literally. So I'm going to share my screen because I actually kind of got I actually put together a timeline kind of, but it's more like in a document form for us to kind of go over. So I won't be able to see your comments. I'm going to pull them up on my phone just in case someone says something I need to miss. Miss Rose, you remember what we talked about in text yesterday about if something happens and how to handle it? You'll know what I'm talking about. So I won't be able to always see chat during this. So if that starts happening, you just take care of it. You'll know what I'm talking about. So I won't be able to always. Sorry about that, guys. I turned on my phone so I could see chat while I'm try to see a little chat while I'm doing this. Okay, Rose, that sounds good, girl. I appreciate that so much. Because guys, I want this community, I want our little section of the community to be a positive one and to have fun and to come in and talk. We may talk about cases, we may talk about real life, we may just come in here just to chit chat about what we're doing that particular day. But I want us to have fun, and I don't want anyone coming in trying to derail that. And so I've asked those that are my mods to take care of that for us because I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm just not going to. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and I want to share the document that I have. Okay, guys, this precious little face right here, his name is Gannon Stauch. Gannon was born on September the 29th, 2008, and unfortunately, Gannon lost his life on January the 27th, 2020, in Colorado Springs, Colorado, in the Lorson Ranch community. His dad is an Air Force. You can't see it. Wait a minute. Let me see what I can do. All right, wait a minute, guys. I'm going to try it one more time, okay? Let me cancel this. All right, let me try it one more time. Okay, can y'all see that now? Hey, Rose, send me a text if you can see it. Or someone let me know in the comments if y'all can see that. Oh, crap. Okay, let's see here. Let me try something else then because I've got my Oh, wait a minute, guys. Wait just a second. Wait. I know what I got to do. I apologize. Hold on just a moment. Let me Okay. Now can you see it? Well, crap. Okay, give me just a second, guys. I'm going to figure something out here, okay? Let me get his picture pulled up, and then I can just go over the information that I just want everybody to see Gannon's picture. That's the most important thing to me is everybody to get his face out there. Because what happened to this little boy is absolutely disgusting. Okay, Rose. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get it pulled up here to see if we can do this a different way. If not, we'll just go over the case. Oh, Mo, I've got some information on Dr. Stauch. I have some information on Dr. Stauch. Chatty Carrie, yes, this situation, this little boy has just. I'll be honest with you. When this happened, I had nightmares for months. I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even let my mind go there to do this to a child Who does this to a child? Okay, we're going to try this just sharing Gannon's picture. It's not going to let me share Gannon's picture. So, guys, I'm going to tell you what, we're just going to go over the information that I have. I am working hard to get better with StreamYard and everything. So I'll get this figured out, and next time that we do one of these cases, this won't happen. I'll get it figured out. Okay. On January the 27th, Al Stauch, Gannon's father, flew to Oklahoma. It was part of a training that he was required to go to as part of his duties with the United States Air Force. Now, a little back history to Al and Letitia Stauch. When they lived in South Carolina, which is where Gannon was originally from. Gannon's mother still lives there. Her name is I just drew a blank. Landon. I'm sorry. Her name is Landon Stauch. Landon and Letitia were what most would consider best friends at one time. Think about that, guys. Landon, Gannon's mother, and Letitia were considered best friends at one time. Best friends. Okay. Al had an affair with Letitia while he was married to Gannon's mother. Gannon's mother and Al divorced. Al went on to marry Letitia. They were transferred to Air Force Base in Alaska. There were reports that Letitia filed complaints against the men at the Air Force Base that they were sexually harassing her. Those claims were proven to be false, and it was recommended that Letitia be sent back stateside. And so she came back to the States, and then Al found out that he was being transferred again to and this time he would be transferred to Colorado Springs, Colorado. And when they found out Al was going to be transferred, Letitia actually went in advance and found them a home and everything to rent, to live in, and all this stuff. Well, during all this time, Landon Hyatt, Gannon's mother, remarried herself, and she became pregnant with her third child with her new husband. So during the pregnancy, she had a very, very difficult pregnancy. She was put on bed rest, and she couldn't take care of Gannon and his little sister like they needed to be taken care of. So she actually messaged Letitia and said, I'm bedridden. I'm on bed rest. I can't take care of the children. Can they come and stay with you and Al while I'm going through this difficult time? Well, that was all that Letitia needed to hear to be able to sink her claws into Landon's children. So they did go live with Gannon and his little sister did go live with their dad in Colorado Springs. Now, Letitia would also have you to believe that she has a doctorate degree in education. She refers to herself as Dr. Stauch. She has written letters to the judge. telling the judge why her constitutional rights were being violated, and signed those letters as Dr. Stauch. Now, if y'all are interested, I will keep deep diving even more into this and find those letters and show them, if y'all are interested in that, because I've read them, and she's got issues. This lady, guys, even attempted to work with another inmate at the El Paso County Sheriff's jail to try to help Letitia escape. Letitia said that she had measured herself according to one of the ceiling tiles, and that she thought that she could fit through one of the ceiling tiles. That didn't work out too good for her, because the person that she asked for the broom to open up the ceiling tile said, no, 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 no. I'm not getting in trouble for that. You're going to get in trouble for it. And she actually went and reported it to the jail authorities, and they actually charged Letitia with attempting to escape. But there'll be more on that later. That may be even included in another video. Okay. So January the 26th, 2020, Al Stauch, Gannon's father, flew to Oklahoma for training as part of his duties with the United States Air Force. This has been verified. His commanding officers came out and said, yes, Al was ordered to go for this training. Yes, we purchased Al's plane tickets. He took a commercial flight to go for this training. Okay. And then the shenanigans begin. Okay, I'm going to tell you this little tidbit too. Also on Sunday, January the 26th, Letitia took Gannon, his little sister, and her older daughter, who was like 17 at the time from a previous marriage. She took them to Garden of the Gods hiking. And there was speculation there for a while. Well, did Gannon even come home from the hiking trip? Law enforcement has proven Gannon came home from the hiking trip. Okay. January the 27th, Gannon stayed home from school. Wait a minute, back up. During the night of the 26th into the morning of the 27th, Letitia was wacko. She was flipping on lights in the little girl's bedroom, turning the lights on. She was, Gannon is seen in one video hunched over crying. I mean, tearful pain crying. This kid was in pain. And she says she accidentally, quote unquote, recorded this. Well, she put the phone in her pocket, and I don't know what the deal was for her to record this. It just doesn't make any sense. I've never understood that. But you could hear Gannon whimpering in the video saying, it hurts. It hurts. And so, yeah. So January the 27th rolls around. Gannon's little sister went to school. Gannon did not. Letitia kept Gannon home from school because of some quote unquote stomach issues. Now, mind you, 7:30, I guess. I think they said they had to be at the bus stop at like 7:45. Gannon was too sick to go to school at that point. But at 10:13 a.m., there is a Ring doorbell camera from a neighbor's house that sees Letitia and Gannon going out and getting into a Nissan pickup truck that belonged to Al Stauch and leaving the home. Now, some have watched this video and said Gannon doesn't look well in the video. It looks like he's having trouble walking. Lord only knows what that child endured during that time. So they go out and they go doing all of these quote unquote errands. Well, Letitia is saw on security camera at 11 o'clock at a Tractor Supply store purchasing dog coats. They had them like buy one, get one free. In a leaked document, it said that Letitia left her own cell phone at home, okay? But she said she took a picture in the car with Gannon when they got back home. But anyway, she didn't have her cell phone. Come to find out, Gannon did have his cell phone. It said that she left Gannon's cell phone inside the store hidden while they went and did other things. Then, like 2 hours later, she came back into the store, retrieved the cell phone. And there were some issues. There were some people saying that she went north, like toward Denver, to a GameStop store to purchase an exercise bike for Al for I believe it was for Valentine's Day or something. I can't remember exactly. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that a little bit better. But anyway, so at 2:20 p.m., Al's truck, which was driven by Letitia, because remember, Al is out of town, returns home and is seen backing into the driveway. Letitia gets out on the driver's side. No one could see Gannon. And so there for a long while, everybody was like, she didn't bring Gannon home. Where did she leave this kid? What did she do to Gannon? Where is Gannon? So, of course, internet people, true crime community people went wild with it. They were analyzing every move, every breath that woman took that day because they were going to help find that child. And I applaud them for it. Because also during this time, let me skip that. I'll get to that in just a minute, okay? Okay. On January the 27th, also, Letitia says that Gannon left the house at between 3:15 and 4 p.m. to go to a friend's house to play. It's important to note that Gannon did not take his cell phone with him, but his Nintendo Switch that he absolutely loved is missing. When Letitia called 911 to report Gannon missing, she couldn't even know for sure what Gannon was wearing. She didn't even know what he was wearing. He was the only child home that day, had been home from school sick. She let him go to a friend's house, supposedly to play, but she didn't know what he was wearing. Yeah. When she called, she Googled the non-emergency number for the El Paso County Sheriff's Department. She reported Gannon missing as a runaway. They showed up at the house around 7 to 7:15 and started searching. And Rose, you're exactly right. Too sick for school, but sure, go on to somebody else's house and play. We didn't do that in our house. If our children were too sick for school, they didn't get to go anywhere. They didn't get to go anywhere at all. And I still have those same rules for my adult son if he misses work sick or has to leave work sick. If you're too sick for school and you're too sick to go to work, You don't get the option to run around and play and do all these other things. That doesn't happen. Sorry, not in my house. Okay. Also on January the 27th, Landon Hyatt, Gannon's mother, and Al Stauch were notified that Gannon had ran away. Now, mind you, Al is in Oklahoma, so he's having to get military approval for an emergency leave to come home, which it was immediately granted when he explained to them the situation and filled out the paperwork. Al was given permission to come home, so he caught a civilian flight back to Colorado Springs on the morning of January the 28th. Landon and her brother also flew in from South Carolina to help search for Gannon. Landon immediately went into, my child did not run away. I FaceTime my child multiple times a day. My child did not run away. My child loved life. If my child was unhappy, he would have texted me and said, Mom, something's not right here. What do I need to do? She said, we had that kind of bond. We had that kind of relationship. And so she knew immediately. When she got into Colorado Springs, she told anyone and everyone she could get to listen to her. Gannon did not run away. Okay. Also on January the 30th, Gannon's disappearance was upgraded to a missing and endangered child. January the 31st, Letitia leaves Colorado. Yeah, guys, you're hearing this, okay? No, wait. I got to tell you one more part. On January the 28th, when Letitia went to pick Al up at the airport when his plane landed, Letitia, for some crazy reason, decides to rent a car. Now, mind you, they have a truck, they have an SUV, but she rents a car for them to use to go search for Gannon, claiming that he wouldn't recognize the car and might come to them easier. Well, as much as we teach our children about stranger danger, common sense tells me that, especially a military child that's probably had this drilled into their head, they're not going to a strange vehicle that they don't recognize. They're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Not going to do it. So, okay, when they got back to their house after she picked him up at the airport, Letitia dropped Al off at home so that he could speak with the police, and she went on her way. Whatever she was doing, God only knows. But I have a feeling it was moving Gannon's body around, trying to keep people from finding it. Okay. So on January the 31st, between January the 28th and January the 31st, Letitia's car, Harley's car, Al's truck, cell phones, all that has been confiscated so that the police can search it for evidence. So January the 31st, Letitia, which is what I like to call her, and Harley went to a budget, I'm assuming it was a budget rental place, to rent a moving vehicle. They went to the home that she shared with Al, packed up what she wanted to carry with her with the intent of splitting town. No one realized she was splitting town. I think they thought that she was just trying to get her things to move somewhere else, because she kept saying it. Al had given Landon permission to stay at the home, so so that she wouldn't have the expense of a hotel and all of that, and they would all be together in case Gannon was found. They would all be right there together. They did what divorced parents should do in a time like this. They joined together and said, we may not have survived as a married couple, but we're standing strong for our son and our daughter. So on January the 31st, Letitia leaves Colorado Springs, Colorado with her daughter, Harley, and other family members en route to South Carolina. The police did not know she was leaving town. Okay, when they got to kind of like the fork closer to South Carolina, her family went on towards South Carolina. Letitia made a detour and went down to Pace, Florida. Remember that name because it's going to come back to us. But she made a down to Pace, Florida, and then from Pace, Florida, she went down to Orlando, Florida, and did some things, and then came back up to South Carolina. Now, there is a video that one of the neighbors caught on his Ring doorbell camera showing that on January the 27th, that Letitia left at 10:13 a.m. with Gannon. You could see Gannon on the video. Came back home at 2:19. You couldn't see. She backed into her parking place. You couldn't see Gannon getting out. The police do believe now that Gannon got out of the truck, but that was a big to-do because people were analyzing that, researching it. It reminded me a lot, looking back on it, of the shadow that everybody claimed about the Watts case. They thought that they could see shadows and all that on the other side of the truck. And I'll be honest with you, I think I can see a shadow of him getting out. And they had a side gate that kind of went down to the basement. And some people think he went through that side gate of the fence and went down to the basement to go into his bedroom because his bedroom was in the basement. On February the 5th, Gannon's biological mother and father made a gut-wrenching plea for anyone with information to come forward. Gannon's mother said, a kid just doesn't disappear and no one sees him. So if you have any credible information and you're afraid, please don't worry about it. Imagine my son. Imagine how scared he is. And that was posted on El Paso County Sheriff's Department's YouTube channel. March the 2nd. And this was the day that we were all just shouting from the rooftops. Letitia Stauch was arrested in Horby County, South Carolina, and held without bond pending extradition to Colorado Springs. She'd been caught. Even though the body had not been recovered, they had enough physical evidence to prove Gannon had sustained life-altering injuries. Now, they did leak a document showing like who the witness list would be, some of their suspected some of the suspected evidence and things like that. But of course, it's just like with the Chris Watts case. We didn't get everything. We did not get everything. Okay. Now, let's see. That was, make sure I get my dates right, okay? Before I say this. Okay. March the 2nd, she was arrested. I believe it was March the 3rd. She had her first court hearing in Horry County, South Carolina. Guys, this woman was like literally like, because it was all WebEx type situation where she wasn't actually present in court. But this chick was like even playing with her hair. She was basically trying to flirt with the judge and all this and asking questions about what if she didn't agree to be extradited back to South Carolina. And the judge told her that they would hold her until South Carolina had their hearing, held a hearing, and let Colorado prove their evidence on her. But the judge told her, he said, I recommend you stop this and go. You need to go and face what you're being um, charged for. So they started the process of bringing Letitia back to Colorado Springs. Hmm. So, what could go wrong in this little trip? They get to Kansas, and Letitia somehow manages to escape out of her handcuffs, and she attacks her transport team. One of them had to go to the hospital. I don't think they've actually charged her for that yet because they've got so many other charges for her. I do know the escape attempt, they have charged her for that, and she waived her rights to preliminary hearing yesterday on that case. March 11th, she made her first court appearance in Colorado after being extradited back. She did not speak during this appearance, but the district attorney Michael Allen, the fourth district attorney Michael Allen, revealed during that at that point they had over 100 search warrants in this case. 100 search warrants, and they were just getting started. 100 search warrants, and Gannon's body had not even been recovered at this point. Letitia, Letitia, Letitia. And guys, here's the sad part, okay? March the 20th, authorities say that they found the body of Gannon Stauch in Pace, Florida, near the Escambia River Bridge. Guys, it had been thrown over the bridge. It was inside of a suitcase, wrapped in Gannon's comforter from his bed, pillows from his bed, and 2 other blankets. It was told in court yesterday when they showed the pictures of what he was found wrapped up in. Um, that the covers that he was found in were actually from his bed. They have photos of those same items on his bed normally. Rose, I wonder who actually lifted the suitcase too. Because as anybody who's ever worked in medical field knows, or any type of first responders or whatever, EMTs, police, when someone dies and rigor mortis sits in, their body becomes dead weight, literally. It is very, very difficult to lift a deceased person alone. When I worked in the hospital and we had someone pass away, we had at least 2 to 3 people in the room with us once we got them cleaned up and they were ready to go to the morgue to hold, for the funeral home to pick up. It took 3 to 4 people to move these patients. So Gannon wasn't easy to move. Now, I know yesterday when in the court there was a question asked if there were any other suspects suspected in the removal and disposal of Gannon's body. And they said no, other than Harley Hunt. Now, I don't know if Harley has made some kind of deal with prosecution. I don't know. I do know that Harley's name is on the the witness list. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you guys, okay? When the 28th, when Gannon went missing, Elena came home from school, Gannon's little sister, and she wanted to ride her bicycle. So Letitia took her upstairs, got her bicycle out. When Hardy got home around 4:30, so Hardy took Elena to the dollar store to get some cleaning supplies that her mother had requested. Elena kept asking when she got home from school that day if she could see her brother. Letitia told her no, that Gannon was in her bedroom asleep and he shouldn't be bothered. Sick woman. Sick woman. Yeah, Brendan too. Hardy is a witness for the state. So that tells me that most likely she's worked out a deal to avoid prosecution on her part. Because you can't tell me that you travel from Colorado Springs to Pace, Florida, dispose of a body, and you don't know the body's in the vehicle with you? Come on. Seriously? But anyway, okay, I'm going to get back to where they found his body. Details on what led to the discovery were not immediately released at the time, but they have since trickled out. They were doing an inspection on the bridge. And when the workers went down to inspect the base of the bridge that, wasn't underwater, they found the suitcase. They opened the suitcase and found the most gruesome thing that you can ever imagine. They immediately called the sheriff's department and they came to investigate. They did an autopsy, and then they started searching in the database, the missing children's database, to try to figure out who this child is. Gannon had a very distinctive gap between his middle teeth, and that gap actually helped them in a preliminary situation to say this is most likely Gannon Stauch. They notified the Colorado Springs Police Department to let them know that they thought they had found Gannon Stauch. Okay. When Letitia was arrested in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, wait, guys, okay. When Letitia was arrested in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, she has some doozy charges. She was first charged with first-degree murder, child abuse, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. When they found Gannon's body and realized the trauma that he had actually experienced, they upped those charges. She's charged with first-degree murder of a child under the age of 12 by a person in the position of trust. Also, tampering with evidence, tampering with a deceased human body, and multiple other charges. Okay. Yesterday, I was watching some live tweets on people that are in the courtroom, because previous times when court came up about this case, they would allow you to turn on your camera and everything, but people wouldn't mute their microphone. So in the middle of the court case, the judge was having to hear people talk about things like, my hemorrhoids are firing up, or Aunt Betsy left Uncle Joe and they're getting a divorce. I mean, stuff that does not belong in a courtroom setting. I mean, I'm just sorry. It does not belong in a courtroom setting. If a court gives us permission and the blessing to be able to watch a court case online, mute your microphone, because y'all ruined it for everyone. Not y'all specifically, but they ruined it for everyone else, because now we can't watch the preliminary hearing because the judge is afraid to be live streamed onto other platforms. Okay. This is live tweets, some tweets that came out yesterday from reporters that were in the courtroom about this case, okay? It says Gannon Stauch suffered a fatal gunshot wound to his jaw and face. You hear that? She shot her 11-year-old stepson in the jaw and face area. That bullet was trapped in that little boy's body. When they did the autopsy, they retrieved it. Two additional rounds were found in the bed covers that he was wrapped in. His skull was fractured. He had between 18 to 20 different cuts and lacerations. It is unsure if the cuts led to his death. They have said the gunshot was fatal. Y'all, she shot this kid. She stabbed this kid. She beat this kid. Now think about that. She shot him in the face. Her 11-year-old stepson. She shot him in the face. Who does that? It's terrible. Then Letitia placed Gannon, wrapped in comforters and blankets, from his bed into a suitcase. Now, I need to say this as well. This suitcase that they found Gannon in, Al had told them when he got back home from Oklahoma, and he kind of went through the house to see, is there anything missing? Is there anything missing? Al told them there was a suitcase missing, a large suitcase. So bravo, Al, for realizing what's normally in your home and what's normally not, and catching the fact the suitcase was missing. So a little bit more about Harley and Letitia's trip to to South Carolina, and the detour to Florida. They stayed at a hotel that they had reserved the night before that was 3 miles from the location where Gannon's body was found. Excuse me, guys. 3 miles from the location where Gannon's body was found. Wait a minute, gotta roll this back up just a bit. Okay, y'all ready for some craziness about this trial? Okay. Let me see if I can find something real quick. I'm going to pull this up just a second. Give me just a second, guys. I thought I had this, but I don't. I want to make sure everybody knows exactly what she is charged with. Letitia has had several court appearances since she was extradited back to Colorado Springs. Now, granted, COVID kind of shut down the court systems for a while. Letitia started out having beef with the public defender she was assigned to. She would write letters to the judge saying that she was being mistreated. The other inmates were trying to put poison into her peanut butter. She had to go on a liquid bland diet because people were trying to poison her. Her constitutional rights were being violated because she was being held for a crime that she did not commit. You name it, this chick tried it. I'm sorry. She just needs to go on with herself somewhere. Okay. And at one point, Letitia decided she wanted to represent herself. The judge, district attorney, even her court appointed attorneys at the time tried to talk her out of it. They explained to her this was a complex case and it was going to require hours of research, and that she didn't even have access to a computer in her jail cell, and she could only go to the law library, I think it was twice a week for 1 hour. Letitia also complained that when her attorney called her at the jail, she had to keep her handcuffs on and was unable to have a pen or paper to write down notes and things that they had discussed. Well, chick, if you hadn't killed your stepson, that wouldn't be an issue for you. Sorry, I don't have any sympathy for you at all. None. So September the 9th, 2021 was the day that Gannon's parents had been waiting for. They were both inside the courtroom. I saw the tweets. They were both there. Al was seen with his head in his hands, crying uncontrollably when they talked about finding Gannon's body. Guys, when Gannon's body was thrown over the bridge where it landed, it had actually left an indentation in the soil and the grass of where Gannon was found. It left an indentation in that area. Yes, that's exactly right, Sunshine Madness. I was about to say that. The letter that Letitia wrote to the judge about her constitutional rights being violated, guys, I kid you not. This chick quoted things from like about our constitutional rights and what our forefathers said about our constitutional rights. She quoted some of our forefathers in her letters, and then she had the audacity to make a comment that the judge could tell that she was a well-educated person. She signed her letter, Dr. Letitia Stauch. Well, Miss Dr. Letitia Stauch, your degree, if you actually have it, isn't going to do you any good in prison. Prison. Chick, you're going to die in prison. Now, I do know that there were talks about if she would qualify for the death penalty. I know that Colorado has since gotten rid of the death penalty, but at the time that she committed this murder, the death penalty was still in play. So I'm wondering if they can actually go back to that. But I just want to recap one more time about Gannon's injuries, okay? Gannon suffered a fatal gunshot wound to his jaw and face. 2 additional rounds were found in the bed covers that he was wrapped in. His skull was fractured, and they're saying that the fractured skull could have happened when she threw him over the bridge, because it was like an 80 to 100-foot drop. So, I mean, you think about it, a child like that that's already deceased, they threw him over the bridge. The sheriff's department in Pace, Florida, said that in their estimation, he had been in that suitcase for at least a month. And I pray that Harley was not involved in this. I know that she's dealing with things on her own. A little backstory to Harley. Letitia was married before Al, and they had Harley during their marriage. Harley's father passed away a few years before this happened. So now Harley, at the age of 20 now, I think she would probably be 20, is having to figure out life without either parent. And that's terrible, guys. It is terrible. But I pray that that Harley didn't have anything to do with this. It is suspect that she was in Pace, Florida when Letitia disposed of Gannon's body. Now I'm going to tell y'all something, okay? Anytime that my family or myself have went on a trip and someone said, "Hey, I need to go take care of something for a little bit," well, especially being my husband, you're not leaving me in a hotel room by myself in a city that I don't really know, so that you can go off and do whatever you want to. No, I'm getting in the vehicle and I'm going with you. Unless I'm sick or something like that, and then I lock the doors and everything else. But I'm just saying, typically, you're not leaving your party that went on a trip with you so that you can go off and do something by yourself. So I'm wondering, was Harley with her when she disposed of Gannon's body? Just food for thought. Okay, Letitia placed Gannon in a wrapped comforter and blankets from his bed. Guys, remember that. His bed. She took his bed, his bedding, wrapped him up in it to dispose of his body. It is also important to note that in Gannon's bedroom, that the carpet was soaked in what was proven to be Gannon's blood. A gun was located in Gannon's house that had Letitia's fingerprints on it. Forensics determined that that gun fired the shots that took Gannon's life. They also found a pair of Letitia Stauch's Nike tennis shoes. These shoes had Gannon's blood inside the soles and on the bottom of the shoes. That blood was tested and came back positive for Gannon's blood. It was also revealed that several times during the time Gannon went missing or Letitia allegedly killed him until his body was found in Florida, Gannon's body was moved several times. Guys, they have the GPS from her Volkswagen Tiguan, from the Kia Rento that she had rented to pick Al up at the airport. They have the GPS off of Al's truck. They have GPS off of Harley's Volkswagen Bug, or excuse me, Volkswagen Jetta. They have evidence. So, and they're saying right now there's no indication that Harley was involved in disposing of Gannon's body. And then on September the 27th, 2020, Gannon's parents were finally able to bury their son. I know they had a memorial service in Colorado Springs for Gannon's friends and church and things like that. But Gannon's parents decided to bury him in South Carolina, where they were originally from. Okay, I think that's all my notes right there. So I'm gonna go back and pull up my chat here. All right, guys. I know that's just kind of a rough overview of the case. It really bothered me last night when I was watching the the Twitter world concerning this case. Yes, Sammy, she was 3 miles from in the hotel from where she disposed of Gannon's body. 3 miles. And guys, she had made these reservations for this hotel 24 hours before, the night before. She knew where she was going to do this at. She knew. She knew where she was going to do it at. Thank you, Capri. I appreciate that. Yes, Sunshine Madness. Harley had to know what was going on when they were on their way to Florida. Okay, think about it like this. If you were about to move back home cross country, okay, and you had a family member following you in a vehicle that had flown in to help you during all this time, and then you decided, hey, I'm just moving back to South Carolina. What on earth would you tell your family was your reason that you're going to take your moving truck and go to Pace, Florida to do whatever? And then she went on down to Orlando, Florida. And is it Bike Fest? Some kind of bike retreat, motorcycle retreat that they have down there that something was going on down there that she wanted to go. No, it was a racing event, a NASCAR event that she went down there for. And guys, just another thing that y'all need to realize is during all of this time, Letitia was constantly in YouTube, Facebook groups, and everything. If anyone had a suggestion or a theory of what happened with Gannon, Letitia made it her job to go in and try to debunk it. And what she didn't realize is all of that's going to be used against her. They retrieved all of that. They retrieved every bit of it. Wait a minute. I want to try something else. Give me just a second, guys. Let me see if I can figure this out. Why am I? Okay. I'm going to try one more thing, guys, if y'all don't mind, okay? Well, let me see if I can find it here. We're going to try this, okay? Because I want to play this video that someone mentioned this, and I had my note about it, and then I wasn't sure. Trying to find it. Okay, guys. Please let me know if you can see this video before I start playing it, okay? Hit one if you can see my
Spencer,
screen.
you were the first reporter to interview her, the only one to speak to her on camera.
Please
Donna and Diane, she told me the day of the interview that she was very concerned with clearing her name. That's why she agreed to speak with me in the first place. There was a lot.
Did y'all see this video? It's a picture of Spencer Wilson outside of the Mandolin Drive house that Letitia and Al Stauch shared with their children. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm going to try one more thing, guys. Give me just a second, okay? Actually, I'll do that in another video. I'll have to figure out what's going on with it, why it's not sharing. Okay. But I will get that figured out. But there is a video, guys, that I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to put the link to part of the video, and then in the comments. Okay. Guys, this right here is a video for that Spencer Wilson, which he's a news reporter in the Colorado Springs area. Right there. And then also, if you will search yes, Amy, that Eduardo thing, we're going to get into that even more. I'm going to do a little more deep diving into the different theories, different stories that she did. I'm going to do more. I'm going to do more on that. All right. Interview of Letitia. Okay, guys, there it is. Spencer Wilson interview of Letitia Stauch. And it will give you some insight. When you watch this video, think back to how Rita, you can probably also find this on YouTube. I'm sure you can. But if you can go back and look at think about how Chris Watts acted on his Sermon of the Porch videos. Letitia did not go by those rules. She kept her back to the camera with sunglasses on, so no one could see her eyes. No one could make contact and figure out for themselves if she BSing or is she telling the truth. And I will say this: not one time did the chick beg for Gannon to come home. Not one time. Until the end of the video, Spencer was about to take his camera down, and she came back over and wanted to know if she could make a plea for Gannon. Sickening. In the plea for Gannon, it was all about she couldn't wait for him to come home so that they could prove all the people that had been calling her a liar as being liars themselves. It's all about what she did for Gannon. She took jabs at Landon for her care for Gannon. But guys, I'm going to tell you something, okay? I admire parents that when one parent, that are divorced and one parent's going through a medical emergency situation, that the other parent steps in and says, hey, let me have the kids until you get through this rough time. Let me have them. Let me have them. And, there were some discussions that the kids were getting ready to go back to live with Landon. Letitia despised Landon. Absolutely despised Landon. Now, Landon had some issues in the past. Landon has paid for those issues, dealt with those issues, and is now an excellent mother and living the best life she possibly can. Yes, Amy, I plan to. I really do. This hit me really hard last night when I was watching the Twitter and, trying to keep up with who said what in court and all of that. And I thought, this is a case that we can cover. This is a case. Now, I do know that they were supposed to be back in court today. And I haven't saw a Twitter feed yet. I haven't had a chance to look at it. It started at 9 o'clock their time, which would be, 9 o'clock their time, which would be like 10 o'clock my time. So when I get off of this, live, I'm going to actually go watch it and see, what's going on and everything. What happened today. I cannot see any way that this judge would not set this for trial. I could. Yeah, Lauren Scharf is covering it. Also, Spencer Wilson is covering it. I follow both of them on Twitter. And guys, do you have any questions about it? I mean, I know I may not have covered it, the entire case, because there's so much information. Guys, she attacked the transport team, bringing her back to Colorado when they were in Kansas City, going through Kansas, and the transport team had to seek medical care, and she earned herself a night in the jail in that county. She's evil. She is evil. And I know they said yesterday when they were discussing the gory details of what happened with Gannon that Al was seen burying his hands in his head, his head in his hands, crying, sobbing uncontrollably. The family didn't know. The family did not know at the time what those details were. They didn't know. So it's sad. Guys, it's really, really sad. And if y'all are interested in this case, I'm going to keep digging into it, and I'm going to keep making videos. We may do a video a day until this is resolved and justice is done for Gannon. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying talking about cases. I'm enjoying, yes, I pray for Lena, his little sister. I really do. And I also pray for Nova, Landon's little girl from another marriage. She was only like 18 months old when Gannon went missing. So those little girls are going through a very, very difficult time. And I want to say this too. And Maj, y'all help me with this, okay? I don't want any negative comments made in my chats about Al and any relationships that he may or may not be involved in, about any GoFundMes that people donate to them. Landon does have a GoFundMe to help offset some of her expenses for having to travel from South Carolina to Colorado Springs multiple times in seeking justice for Gannon. She does, and she needs it. But I refuse to let anyone say anything negative about this family. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know the impact that it's had on their lives. Guys, do y'all realize that Al Stauch, let me get a drink, guys, just a second. Okay, Al Stauch has been making, because Hardy's Volkswagen Jetta was also in Al and Letitia's name. So Al Stauch has been making payments on 3 vehicles that are in police impound. He's still having to make payments on those vehicles so that it won't negatively affect his credit. I mean, it's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. But I do appreciate each and every one of you being here. I'm going today to watch the live tweet. Sammy, I can't imagine sitting in that courtroom listening to what that woman did to my child. I can't, because I want to tell you, I've got that much of a temper. If you go after my kid, I'm coming for you. I will come for you. Somebody laughed at me the other day in Natasha's chat because I said, I'll take your kneecaps out. You come for my child and I will take your kneecaps out. My boys are off limits. Off limits. And yes, my boys are spoiled, but that's okay. They're my boys. As long as my husband and myself can keep it up, and that's the way we decide to spend our money and spoiling our kids, that's what we're going to do. Because I had rather my children grow up knowing that they came, from a loving, devoted home with parents that cared about them, with parents that made sure that things that they would like to have were possible to an extent. There are some things my boys have talked about that I've told them absolutely no way. But these are memories that my kids are going to have for a lifetime. And if I can make those memories extra special, that's my job. I've succeeded, in my opinion. Others may not see it that way. My 21-year-old son, he still lives at home. He talked to me one day last week. He was sick last week. He took the second COVID vaccine. And he was sick last week. And we really, really, really bonded over, during that time even more. And guys, I'm sorry, it may make me cry. I'm sorry, I'm just going to tell you. Sunday morning, Saturday morning, he went to work for 1 hour and got sick at his stomach and had to leave. He took the second COVID vaccine and was running 101.4 fever for a couple of days, tried to go back to work, got sick, and had to leave. But anyway, so he comes home and we get him situated on the couch and I get his medicine and everything and get it into his body. And my 21-year-old son looks up at me with the sweetest face and says, Mom, come over here and sit beside of me on the couch. And I walked over and sat beside of him and he said, thank you, Mommy. Which he calls me Mommy, usually just as a pet name. You know what I mean? That's just his way to communicate with me. And I said, son, what are you thanking me for? He said, Mom, you got up with me during the night and have been up with me all day long while I'm sick, even though you're sick yourself and I know you need your rest. Because, guys, I had bronchitis and 2 ear infections last week and this week. That's why I haven't been going live as much. But when he said that to me, all of the sleep that I had lost taking care of him didn't matter anymore. This mom's heart melted. And I told him I would always be there for him. Always. It's kind of a joke in our family that my son, my 21-year-old, may never move out. And if that's a decision that he chooses to make, now he dates girls and stuff, and I figure he'll find somebody that he falls in love with and gets married eventually. I do believe that. But right now he's focusing on his career, saving money, and just having fun. Hey, Christy, thank you so much. It's a good day here so far. But my oldest son, my father-in-law was a preacher. He's retired now. And they lived on the other end of the state for years and years and years. My oldest son, every time that he would get any time out of school when he was in high school, he would want to go stay with his nana in East Tennessee. I didn't care because I knew that they didn't get to see him as much. Well, when they retired and moved back here and bought a house, my son came to me one day and he said, Mom, I want to move in with Nana. Now, mind you, my father-in-law is very sick. He was sprayed with Agent Orange in Vietnam, and his health is declining rapidly. He said, Nana may need me to help her with Papaw. My father-in-law is now confined to a hospital bed most of the time. And I told him, I said, if that's a decision that you feel best in your heart that you need to do to help your grandparents, I'm all for it. I said, in fact, Mom will help you pack your things up, take it to Nana's, and get your bedroom set up at Nana's. Was I mad that he wanted to move in with my in-laws? Absolutely not. He was doing exactly what we had raised him to do. Compassion, understanding, empathy, love. He shows those things to my in-laws, and I couldn't be more proud of him. One little funny joke, though, he called me one day, and he was just talking, chit-chatting and talking with me. He said, Mom, are you really, really proud of me? And I said, of course, son, I've always been proud of you. I've been proud of you since the day that you were born. I've been proud of every milestone that you have accomplished. I'm proud of the young man that you've become. Of course, I'm proud of you. He said, well, I just wanted to make sure because this was a big step with me moving out on my own. And I wanted to know that you were proud of me for moving out on my own. Guys, I busted out laughing. I said, son, let's keep this into perspective. You didn't move out on your own. You moved in with Nana. Nana still washes your underwear. Come back to me when you are doing your own laundry and taking care of your own household. We'll talk then. But he is very, very self-conscious about his budget and watching his savings account and his checking account and all these things. And I'm very proud of him. Very proud of him. Yes, Bojangles, that's what I said. Move out on his own. He moved 7 minutes across town to live with his Nana and Papaw. And come on, he likes to drink Yahoos every single morning. Guess who goes to Sam's and buys him those cases of Yahoos every day? I mean, that he drinks every day. I go once a week and buy him a case of Yahoos to keep at his Nana's. Yeah, Rose, I'm going to be honest with y'all. If my younger son moved out, I don't think I could handle that right now. But my family is my absolute top world. I love, love, love my family. Love my family. My oldest son is very cautious about when my in-laws need something done, and he does it. My younger son, very cautious about when my dad needs something done, and he does it. My dad and I practically share the same driveway. And so if we hear my dad start his lawnmower up and he's going to mow the yard, my husband or my son, one goes down there and gets him off the lawnmower, gets on it. Thank you, Mojangles. Girl, I'll message you after a while. And takes care of my dad's lawn and things for him. My dad is 79 years old. He'll be 80 in November. And he has no business outside on a lawnmower trying to mow his yard in the middle of the summer. It's not going to happen. But anyways, guys, if you have any more suggestions on parts of this case that you would like for us to cover, let me know. I'm going to also find out why my sharing didn't work. That's so good, Rose. That's so good. I was very thankful that my parents were that close to me when my mom got sick, because take out this one little final story before we go. One day I was sitting at home. Now, this was after I had my stroke and I started getting better. Hi, Christy. Yes, it is mycasediscussion@gmail.com. mycasediscussion@gmail.com. But I was sitting here at home one day and I thought, there's an ambulance really close by. Where's that ambulance? And then as it got closer to our house, you could tell it's like really, really close. And my husband looked out the window and he said, the ambulance is pulling in our driveway. Well, I jumped up. Of course, I had to use my cane. And my husband helped me get my shoes on. And we went back to my mom and dad's house. And I knew the paramedic. We graduated high school together. We had worked together several years at the hospital. And I said, what's going on? Who are you here for? And she said, 67-year-old white female complaining of chest pain. My heart dropped. Guys, I was a cardiac nurse. It's what I did for a living. I could not believe that my mother was having a heart attack and didn't want to tell her children because she didn't want us to worry. But anyway, she recovered from that, but she did end up passing away in December of 2012. But I wouldn't bring her back to this world for anything. I really wouldn't. But I do want to thank you all for being here. This is a very, very hard case. Oh, Rose, thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. I really do appreciate every kind word that anyone says. Nice gestures. Guys, if you have an opportunity and can, would you please share our page, our channel to other pages to try to, get more people coming in so that we can get more viewers and things over here. But I love you all very, very, very much. And I'm going to get off of here and go do some research on those tweets that's coming out, because we're going to have another video, I'm sure. And then I'm going to try to get my hands on those documents that were released so that we can discuss them, because there's a lot more information about this case. A lot more information. A lot more. Oh, guys, one more thing. Hey, Rose. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can get it. Rose, can you share the group, the page about our channel? Do you have that handy? Because, guys, I started a group, a page about our Facebook group. It's called Case Discussion. On the Case Discussion page, Rose. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I can find it. Give me just a second, guys, and I'll let y'all off of here. I just want to make sure that if anybody wants to join it, that they know how. Well, let's sign in. Sorry, guys, I can't see chat while I'm doing this. Okay, guys, while I'm waiting on this to pull up, I want to tell y'all about one more thing, if y'all don't mind. This is a little personal, but my husband's cousin, 17 years old, he just turned 17. He had a pacemaker defibrillator put in a few years ago. because he went into cardiac arrest at the age of like 14. And yeah. Over the past 2 weeks, his defibrillator has fired several times. Several times. So they went in and did an ablation, cardiac ablation. This week, and if this doesn't work, he's going to need a heart transplant. Okay, there's the group, guys. The Facebook group, Facebook page that I started. You can just go and like it and follow it, and I'm going to post information in there. And like if I'm not able to go live or whatever, I'll update there since I don't have the community tab yet. And at risk of sounding like, I'm kind of like begging for anything or whatever, I want that community tab. So if y'all don't mind to share this so that we can have the community tab and can post things and all that. And also hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, thumbs down. Doesn't matter to me. Either way, it's action on our page. Yeah, Rose, we found it at the same time. All right, guys, I'm going to get off of here, and I'll see you guys. I'm sure Natasha will be going live soon. I'll see you guys over there. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, I'm going to be doing more research. I'm going to be finding out some more information about Gannon. Gannon's memory will not die. We refuse to let it die. We love you, Gannon. We love your family. And we're going to get through this together. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I love you all and have a great day.